hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello. I just want to say, I don't know if you can hear this, but if you can in fact hear bass pumping, my fiance is throwing a little party for him and the dog downstairs, and I don't want to rain on that, so we might have to just deal with it. In today's video, I am doing something that I don't really do that often, which is make multiple videos on the same topic in a very short time span. I've definitely done this before when like big drama happens, like when Dramageddons go down. Usually I'll make multiple videos, one after the other, but I typically don't like to make one video after the next video after the next video on a person, because I do feel like people tend to think that if you make multiple videos about a person, you're just like dog piling onto them, or you're just whatever. So usually I like to say my piece and then just kind of be done, or at least wait a while and see if anything new comes up. Much has come out in the past few days about this person, Shallon, that have just been really insane. Like, I feel like the video I made a few days ago was really just like the beginning of all of this and the beginning of the issue, because the issues with her go so much deeper, and even things that she's done recently as a couple of days ago, have just been incredibly problematic. I don't love the word problematic anymore. I feel like it's overused, but I do think that in this particular situation, problematic is probably the best word to describe what's going on. So the first thing I would like to say is, if you're unclear on like what's going on in general, I have a video on this whole topic of Shallon Lester that I posted a couple of days ago, where I think I really go into detail on like my issues with her and her content. It's kind of like a critique of her content, I would say, and basically just saying like my problems. The underlying tone of the whole thing is that she tends to mix mental health and drama and celebrity content, and I don't think those two things should mix. In my personal opinion, I don't think they should mix. But also I'm gonna link a few other videos down below from other creators who have made content on this person, because I think they do a really good job too in their own ways. I think each video about her, somebody found something a little bit different to talk about, and I think that's really cool. But basically, after D'Angelo Wallace dropped his video on Shallon, a bunch of other videos have been made from myself and other creators, basically just discussing the issues with her. So Shallon took to her Reddit, which I will say, I was gonna make a video about this to post yesterday, but I wanted D'Angelo to be able, I saw that he was gonna make another video, and I wanted him to be able to post his video first, and be able to like get his side of the story out first, because he is the one who's having his name slandered. I think slander is a perfect word for what's happening. He's the one who's having his name slandered by Shallon as a result of his video, and I think everyone should go watch his video obviously on it too, because I think he provides really good receipts and just a response to what she's saying. But basically, she went to her Reddit called the Shallonators. I'll link the Reddit down below, because I think there's a lot of good discussion happening on the Reddit of people who are genuinely fans of her, or were fans of her, who are kind of understanding the points that a lot of commentators are making, while still saying like, we want to like you, we just want you to own up to kind of the issues. And I think there's a lot of people thinking very critically on the Reddit who are fans of her and are thinking critically about the situation. It's just an interesting read, I think, if you want to kind of see how her core fan base is responding. But Shallon posted this apology to her Reddit, and it was kind of 4 parts. It's getting a lot of negative feedback on Reddit, which is interesting considering that Reddit page was specifically up until this point for her like die-hard fans. So it's very telling that like her apology is getting so much flack. Basically, in this Reddit apology, I'm going to briefly summarize it. The first point she makes is that she's going to stop doing so much armchair diagnosing, and she's going to try to make more positive content. I do feel like that's a step in the right direction. I would love to see her stop with the armchair diagnosing. That was obviously my biggest problem with her. One of my biggest problems at the time. There's bigger problems now. At the time, that was one of my biggest problems, but I don't think she adequately addressed or apologized for the content that she has been making up until this point. It's fine to do a content shift when you're being called out on things. I think that's actually a really appropriate measure, especially when it's something this serious. So I do appreciate that she says she's going to do that, but I don't think she accurately addressed the problem in the first place and adequately was like, this is what she belittled basically the problem by just saying she makes negative content or things like that. The reality of the situation is her content is downright malicious and hurtful, And I don't think she properly acknowledged that or owned up to the fact that that's what she was doing, which the first step in an apology is owning what you did. D'Angelo talked about that in his video, and I think that's a great point. The second point she made was talking about why she blocked D'Angelo on Twitter, because that was something D'Angelo had talked about in his first video. And this is the reason I wanted to make a video, because I do want to put it out there to as many people as possible that what she is saying about him in this part of the apology is just a flat out lie. So like a verifiable lie. She blocked D'Angelo on Twitter because D'Angelo doxed her and told his followers her home address, her phone number, completely doxed her, and basically says that that's why she blocked him, which is a lie. It's verifiably a lie. And D'Angelo made a really good point in his video where he kind of refuted these claims, because that's a pretty serious allegation. To say somebody's doxing somebody else, that means that D'Angelo would have purposely been trying to put her safety at risk. Even if it's not illegal, it's absolutely against pretty much all social media like groups, pretty much against their terms of service. You can't dox somebody, you can't tell the internet their address. And somebody in the comments of this thread asked for proof of that. They were very nice about it, but they were like, hey, that's a serious claim. You really can't just say that. Like, where's the proof? And Shallon said that she does have proof, but she can't share it because she doesn't want to share her address. Okay, and that there has been a police report and she's consulting with legal counsel, and all of these things. And then she also said that it is no longer on his Twitter account because Twitter took it down. D'Angelo has 25,000 Twitter followers, and not a singular person has any evidence to prove that he did this to her. Because she said Twitter is the people who took it down, that doesn't just happen in an instant. Twitter sometimes takes a very long time to take down tweets that violate terms of service. So by her account, if Twitter were to have taken that down, that probably would have taken anywhere from like an hour to 3 hours, meaning that would have been plenty of time for his 25,000 Twitter followers to go and screenshot it. It doesn't add up that she happens to be the only person who instantly saw it and then Twitter instantly took it down. It doesn't add up. So I don't really know why or where she came up with this lie, especially a lie that is so easily debunkable. Like, I'm not sure why she decided to spread this. I think she wants to do it to try to decredit him, because she did claim like something's not right there, kind of insinuating that he was like obsessing over her, which just isn't true. I feel like a lot of times people who get called out by commentary channels are like, oh my god, they're just so obsessed with me. But it's like, we talk about everyone. You're not that special so that we're talking about you. You're just problematic as so I don't know. I hate that rhetoric of like, oh, they're so obsessed with me. It's like, no. People make singular or a couple of videos on you because you're doing something that's wrong. Accusing a person of something that serious, accusing a person of putting your safety at risk is such a serious claim, and is honestly on the internet a very quick way to get people to dislike you. Like, doxing a person is the quickest way for people to not like you on the internet. So I absolutely 100% think she chose that as the like crime that he committed, because she knows that people take that really seriously. They take other people's safety really seriously. And what's a little bit alarming is the amount of stans that are just like blindly believing this and like commenting to D'Angelo that he doxed her, and with no even an ounce of evidence. Like, at least when I say that she's said racist things, I can sit here and provide you a video clip of her being racist. She has zero evidence and has not provided any information, not even like an email from Twitter alerting her, which that would have been a thing to provide. Show the email from Twitter that they send you when they say, okay, we've looked into this and now we've decided that you actually, this person was violating terms of service and we've taken down the tweet. Because Twitter will do that. I've reported tweets before and they send me a little notification or email telling me that the tweet has either been taken down or it doesn't violate terms of service. So if she really has that evidence, show me. Show me the tea. You don't have to expose your address by doing that. Show me. Let me know. I would love to see it. Third point she talks about is how she's not going to make a response video to any of this, which why would she? I think she's a smart person in a social media sense. Like, I think she understands how social media works, which a lot of people don't. Even people who work in social media don't understand. But I mean, making a response video on your biggest platform, which for her is YouTube, would bring a lot more attention to it than is being brought that right now. Right now, there's probably a good chunk of people who follow her that have no idea that anything is really going on with her. She's heavily moderating her comment section. She has turned off her subscriber count so you can't see that it's going down. She's not really, by not addressing it and not talking about it, she's bringing less attention to it, and I think that's her goal. My favorite sentence in this part of the apology is her quote, "You're here for the drama, I'm here for the growth," which is just the most hypocritical thing I've ever heard from a former editor of Star Magazine. Like, I'm sorry, which is not the most reputable. If you're not from the US, it's like probably one of the least reputable magazines. It's right up there with like TMZ. Probably like the Daily Mail would be the equivalent. So I'm sorry, but I find that quote just utterly hysterical. She gives a kind of disclaimer about the tweet that D'Angelo brought up, which was she basically sent out a like thirst tweet towards Justin Bieber when she would have been, well, we found out she's lying about her age. She's 39, she's not 35. So when she would have been 29, she sent out a tweet to a 15-year-old Justin Bieber, basically sexualizing him, talking about having a sex dream about him, which is pretty predatory behavior. And she kind of writes this off as being like a dumb tweet. I would argue that that's a little bit more than dumb. I would argue that that's pretty predatory, and then paired with the other behavior that we've kind of seen from her, that's been being compiled and being brought out. There's a lot of stuff in the Reddit thread. There's a lot of information in D'Angelo's video. There's a lot of information in a few other videos of basically people providing context and evidence to her not necessarily dating men that are like under age of consent, like under the age of consent, or like having sexual relationships with men who are under the age of consent, but being a like almost 30-year-old woman dating a 17-year-old, which to me is predatory. There is definitely a power imbalance that comes with age, and I do think that at a certain point there are certain age gaps, especially when a person is still 17, that do feel really predatory. There's also clips of her acting really inappropriately with like kids who are in a band who are like 18 years old when she is like 29 years old. So there's a lot of like, you can kind of Google around and find stuff, but there's a lot of weird stuff going on with that. There's also a video of her stating that she feels like men are not allowed to date younger women, but women are allowed to date younger men because men can't be as abused by women, especially sexually. Women have a need to please and men don't experience that, so men can't really be taken advantage of or abused by older women the way that older men can abuse younger women, which is not correct. It's pretty much blatant erasure and the continuation of this stereotype that men can't be in abusive relationships or men can't be hurt by women, which is a blatant falsehood. So to say that just this one tweet was like a singular dumb tweet, which granted, if this was her only thing, like if she had just tweeted out this weird thing about Justin Bieber, yeah, that's pretty weird and it's pretty creepy, but like I wouldn't be like, oh, that's like predatory levels of behavior, that's like a consistent pattern of being a predator. I will say that her behavior that has been chronicled on the internet for the past 10 years absolutely shows a level of predatory behavior that I don't think can just be ignored or explained away by a singular quote of her saying like, oh, it was just a dumb tweet. So that in and of itself is like a huge issue right there, is all of the things that have come up about her predatory behavior. It's a huge red flag to me, and that is something I definitely have an issue with. I think one of the other things I had an issue with this non-apology, because it wasn't an apology, she didn't really apologize for anything, is kind of the manipulation that happened in the last couple of paragraphs of it. This is the actual quote from the end of the apology. Like I said, I care about what you guys, actual Shalloners, think, because my true fans are thinking women. We're growing women. We're bold, badass women, and those kind of women, well, we ruffle some feathers. Does this sound like an MLM like email to anyone else? Like, does this sound like your friend from high school who's trying to convince you to be part of an MLM? This just reeks to me of manipulation, like utterly and truly reeks of it. And the next part says, if I've been ruffling your feathers, I'm sorry. Just know I take this all seriously. I'm super new to this profession. She's not. She's been uploading for like 10 years. She's not new to this. She had a reality show back in 2010. Like, she's not new to this. And I know it seems like I should have it all figured out, but who does? And I think a lot of people use that particular like, who has it all figured out? We all make mistakes. That only works if there's been like a singular event in your life where you fucked up. If you have a consistent consistent pattern of behavior over the course of almost a decade of you being a shitty person, saying horrible things about mental health, re-stigmatizing mental health, saying predatory things about young men, saying racist things, saying transphobic things. When you have a long, long history, you don't get to just be like, does anybody really have it all figured out? Are any of us really all put together? You don't get to use that excuse anymore. Like, that's a pattern of behavior that you have displayed. You don't get to just be like, oh, well, you know, we all make mistakes. You're not Hannah Montana. Like, not everybody makes those mistakes. Basically goes on to say she, like, loves them and cares what they think, and she's not gonna respond to these things anymore. Reading the comments on this post, and there was obviously the people calling her out, and obviously the people being like, what you're doing is up, your D'Angelo didn't do that. Like, there was obviously all of those, but there were the people who were like, Shallon, you call us your friends, and I feel like I am a friend to you, and I can't, you know, I can't believe people are doing this to you, but also, like, did you say this? Like, I think what's scary to me is that Shallon has cultivated a group of people who are being so open about sharing her personal journey through life and through having all of these videos posted talking about advice and giving advice and presenting herself as a person who, like, gives really good advice, which a lot of her advice is not that good. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like her, the way that she gives advice to women. I think it's got a lot of sexist undertones to it, but like, whatever. The way that she gives advice, people have really connected with her and think of her as a friend. I had fans of hers tagging me in Instagram posts, in their Instagram stories, publicly threatening me, and threatening me for coming after their friend Shallon, who they didn't know in real life. It was just their friend. She goes, well, that you even call us your friends. I start all of my videos with hi friends, okay? That's my little thing. I call us the friends. It's like our thing. I never want you guys to think, this made me have like a little bit of an internal, like, I hope I'm not ever making anyone feel this way, because there's this thing called parasocial relationships, and I think that Shallon plays on the fact that her audience has this relationship with her where they all think that they are like best friends with her. If I ever said something predatory or racist or xenophobic or transphobic, I would really hope that you guys weren't like, oh, well, she's just my friend, and you know, I don't want to make my friend feel weird by calling them out about that. Nope, I think you should absolutely call me out, because we're not friends. I'm a kind of a stranger to you, and you need to feel comfortable like challenging people that do problematic things, because at the end of the day, none of the creators that you watch are actually your friends. And I think that gets really complicated in YouTube. I think a lot of YouTubers do what Shallon does, which is kind of playing on that fact. But what makes it a little bit scary to me is people who feel so strongly that a person is their friend that they don't know and never have actually met and just watch on YouTube, that they defend their actions past a point of reasonable defense. You know what I mean? Like, if we were making objectionable claims here about Shallon, I would understand people being like, well, this, and this. But we're showing hard evidence of her saying things that are racist. We're showing you clips where she says these things. We're showing you clips where she is hitting on an 18-year-old boy and very obviously making him uncomfortable. All of those clips are out there and are being shown to people. And the #1 comment that I got from people who are Shallon fans on my last video are, you people take her too seriously. And I think the problem I have with that is it's like, she is talking about serious topics. She's not a comedian making jokes about these things. She's a person who is claiming that she is so good at giving advice that she should charge you for that, and discussing with the utmost of seriousness if someone like Ellen DeGeneres is a sociopath. That's a problem. Those are serious statements. Those are serious things. Celebrities are never going to see a video that has 300,000 views, because to them, that's an inconsequential number of people. They have millions and millions and millions of followers. Selena Gomez has like 150 million followers on Instagram. She doesn't care about the 300,000 people that agree with Shallon and talk about Shallon, right? So the only people that are ever going to hold her accountable and are ever going to tell her that what she's doing is so is the YouTube community. I've said this a billion times, but we are a self-policing platform. We are a platform that doesn't have a lot of regulations. So if we see something that is objectionably wrong, if we see a person creating content that morally crosses line, we need to be holding those people accountable. And I'm not saying don't be a fan, don't subscribe. I'm not saying cancel her. All I'm saying is look at the facts and hold her accountable when she crosses these lines. Lying about D'Angelo doxing her is crossing a line. Making statements about Selena Gomez dying of a drug overdose is crossing a line. Making up blatant lies about celebrities to fit a narrative that she has for them is crossing a line. And I think it's important that we keep addressing it. I am gonna copy, I hope D'Angelo doesn't mind that I do this. I might actually DM him and make sure he's cool with that. But I am gonna include, he made a whole Google Doc of like evidence, and I think I looked through it. It's really, really, really good. And I think that as many people can see that as possible is gonna be beneficial. So I'm gonna see if I can link that for you guys too, just so you can see the evidence that he put together. Full credit to him for doing that. But I think it's important that a lot of people have accused commentary channels of not providing the full context when they include clips or things like that. And I think what that shows is the full context does not help her. So that's it for me, you guys. Let me know what you think about this situation as it's like developing down below. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below, along with a link to register to vote. That's right, you can click on that link, you can register to vote, and you can be part of your democracy. Super fun. And if you're not from the United States and that link does not apply to you, please make sure you're staying informed on what's going on, using your voice in a positive way if you can, because the world absolutely needs more of that. And please wash your hands, social distance if you can, and take care of each other, because we also need more of that. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!